Welcome to the Daniel Speaks podcast, where ancient wisdom meets modern ambition. I'm Daniel, and this show is about evolving in all realms, spiritually, financially, mentally, and culturally. Each episode, we dive into ideas that challenge conventional thinking, build conscious wealth, and strengthen your connection to what really matters. Sometimes it's a deep Torah takeaway, sometimes it's a conversation with a top performer in their field, and sometimes it's just me unpacking what's on my mind. If you're someone who wants to grow, think independently, and live with intention, you're in the right place. If you enjoy the show, make sure to follow, share, or leave a review. And most importantly, take what resonates and put it into action. Let's get into it. Welcome to Reflections, a space on the Daniel Speaks podcast for soul-first thinking, Torah wisdom, and spiritual clarity. This is about anchoring to what truly matters. In today's daily mitzvah, we see several interconnected themes: avoiding idolatrous structures and practices, eradicating idolatry, avoiding alliances with idolatry, and distancing from pagan influences. This pattern has been consistent in previous mitzvah we've studied. It emphasizes the importance of being aware of the structures, habits, and cultural influences in our surroundings. The message is clear. We must ensure we're not unconsciously mimicking or adopting foreign rituals that are not rooted in Torah. A key takeaway is the idea of being intentional with our spaces, when and how we worship, how we conduct ourselves, and how we structure our lives. Even though these mitzvah reference physical acts of idolatry, there's a deeper layer here, removing not just the physical remnants, but also the ideological and physiological influences that idolatry can have on our lives. Whether in personal matters, relationships, or businesses, we are guided to align our conduct with Torah values. The prohibition against benefiting from idolatry is especially interesting because it extends beyond religious practice. It includes financial dealings, ethical business decisions, and the integrity of our partnerships. This means ensuring our financial success is not built upon unethical or spiritual impure foundations. It's not just about avoiding literal idol worship. It's about not engaging with, supporting, or benefiting from systems and practices that contradict Torah principles. When it comes to alliances, it's not about rejecting strategic relationships outright. It's about maintaining the continuity of our core values without compromise. Being principled will naturally create friction with the wrong people, but it will also attract the right ones. True alignment comes from standing firm in Torah values, which inevitably brings clarity in business, personal relationships, and communal leadership. Distancing from pagan practices is another essential point, one that applies broadly to everyday life. Cultural trends, social norms, and modern ideologies often shape people's actions without them even realizing it. Leading with intentionality means being deliberate in how we conduct ourselves rather than blindly following what's popular. Even if something appears Jewish or seems logical, that doesn't automatically mean it aligns with Torah. Just because something makes sense doesn't mean it's what Hashem wants for us. The commandment against interpreting omens and following astrology resonates strongly with me. Wisdom comes from Hashem and Torah, not from external mystical ideas, arbitrary signs, or superstitions. I was just talking about this today with somebody where it's crazy to me that someone would have such a wealth of knowledge and understanding of Torah, and then they just start bringing in astrology and all these other intuitive frameworks that don't necessarily align with one another. It's easy to think that there's overlapping consistencies, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it makes sense and that it's insightful. I've seen this firsthand with the podcaster I used to listen to. Someone with a high energy, engaging insights, yet they mix their message with astrology and other non-Torah-based beliefs. It creates a conflict. While there may be truth in some of what they say, that extra layer of pagan influence ultimately corrupts the purity of wisdom that should come solely from Torah. This mitzvah teaches us that when we allow paganism or external influences to exist in close proximity, even in subtle ways, it begins to affect our thinking, decision-making, and spiritual clarity. We've seen in past mitzvah how even a small level of corruption can lead to long-term consequences, not just for ourselves, but for our communities and future generations. The overreaching lesson here is that Torah provides a clear, unwavering path. When we follow it, decision-making becomes straightforward and rooted in trust. But when we step outside that framework, entertaining opportunities that don't align with Torah, we take a risk. It might seem like an opportunity for growth or success, but in reality, it's a gamble. Instead of being a blessing from Hashem, it often turns into a lesson, one that comes at the cost of our closeness to Him. Ultimately, the mitzvah reinforces that staying on the path Hashem has laid out for us leads to a life of clarity, integrity, and true connection with Hashem, with ourselves, and with those around us. Straying from it, even with good intentions, leads to uncertainty, separation, and a lower quality of life. The closer we stay to Torah, the more aligned we are with our purpose, and the more we elevate ourselves with the world. If this reflection spoke to you, share it with someone walking the same path. Growth happens together, and it starts from within.